From an elf on the shelf caught floating to an elf running away from a cat, these 20 elf on the shelf caught moving on camera clips will shock you. Like this video and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or this spider will be crawling around your bed while you sleep tonight. Elf riding a drone. So, this YouTuber was flying his drone around the playground near his house looking to capture some beautiful winter footage, but he got shocked when an elf on the shelf appeared in the frame. Apparently, the elf jumped off the ground and latched onto the drone. You can see his little elf legs wiggling around, and eventually, we can see the entire face of this elf. This is an amazing clip showing that elves on the shelf can be captured moving not just inside the house, but also outside. So, let's check it out. Troublesome elf. After watching this clip, we have concluded that there couldn't be any other stranger elf on the shelf caught on camera clips on the internet. In this clip, an elf on the shelf was caught redecorating the kitchen of its owners, and it's not the kind of decoration you would ever expect to see anywhere. We think we may have found the greatest elf prankster ever. Forest elf. This girl woke up one morning to find a note left by her elves saying that they were going out to hide in the nearby forest, and luckily, the note included the GPS coordinates for the owner to find her elves. She started walking to the coordinates and ended up finding not just her elves, but also a plethora of other dolls and toys. Her elves have probably hosted some sort of forest party for all the toys in her closet, and it's just amazing. Elf teases the camera. If there's one thing elves are good at, it's turning a situation around in their favor. When an elf on the shelf was caught on camera moving, it decided to turn the situation around and tease the camera instead. Elf caught floating. It's important to understand that there's a difference between an elf on the shelf flying and an elf on the shelf floating. Flying requires much stronger magic compared to floating, and in this clip, you will see an elf who's floating. It might be a young elf who still doesn't know how to use more powerful magic. Elf caught moving in the kitchen. The elf on the shelf in this next clip will rather choose to play hide and seek in the kitchen than stay put in one position, so let's check it out. Elf caught struggling. What some elves on the shelf get to in the middle of the night remains unclear. While we will agree that it's sometimes about flying, cooking, and moving around for some elves, there are some other elves on the shelf that just come alive in the middle of the night to do whatever. The elf on the shelf in this clip is a perfect example of that, and we are completely puzzled by its behavior. Doors and elf. It doesn't matter how long it takes when an elf on the shelf decides to do something, because they do it eventually. In this clip, a kid set up a hidden camera to catch his elf on the shelf moving on camera, and what his camera managed to capture will scare you and make you question everything you know about elves on the shelf, so let's check it out. Elf on the shelf caught working. So, all of us know that elves are super talented and they can do many different things and also use magic, which makes many things much easier than they would be for us humans. However, this elf was captured working at a mini construction site as if he was trying to build something. The elf is even wearing a safety helmet instead of the usual Christmas hat. We can only wonder what the elf was building. Elf plays around. In this clip, an elf on the shelf was caught on camera playing by itself around the house, a classical moving elf on the shelf. Elf in the dark. We don't know for sure what the elf on the shelf is doing in this clip, but its movement caught on camera suggests that perhaps there's another elf on the shelf nearby who's about to join his buddy in front of the camera, so let's check it out. Cat chase. In this clip, we see a chase between a cat and an elf on the shelf, and it gets really close until the elf decides to use its magic and fly upward to avoid the curious cat. Not all cats are friendly to elves, so it was probably a good decision to make. Elf caught moving. The elf on the shelf was caught on camera moving from one place to another. The elf was caught riding a tiny toy horse and being accompanied by another doll, but it left the other two to climb up a chair and then jump on the table to find itself a hiding spot. So let's check it out. Elf hates camera. Our next elf on the shelf caught on camera shows an elf trying to find the right position for it to either sit or rest. The elf is seen moving towards the sink before moving away and then trying to rest on the counter before changing its mind again. And that must have been when it spotted the camera that was recording its every movement. Elf caught flying. In this clip, an elf on the shelf was caught on camera flying. The clip was recorded by a man who set up a hidden camera to catch his elf on the shelf moving, and after a while, his elf on the shelf flew into the living room and started moving around, but eventually it did something that will surprise you, so keep on watching. Elf performs magic. Two elves on the shelf displayed impressive magic when they both decided to use magic to create a Christmas tree in their owner's house, and then the elves joined hands together like lovers facing the Christmas tree. That's probably the most romantic elf on the shelf clip ever, so enjoy it to the fullest. Elf in the robe. If you believe you've seen it all, this clip might convince you that you haven't seen anything when it comes to elves on the shelf caught on camera. This clip shows an elf on the shelf wearing a piece of clothing you'll never believe is possible for an elf to wear, so watch carefully. Elf caught pushing. There is nothing an elf on the shelf cannot do, including moving and pushing things on camera. In this clip, an elf on the shelf was caught doing various pranks. Let's hope its owners didn't get too mad at it. Restless elf. This clip captured an elf on the shelf who was showing us around the house as if he was a real estate agent. The elf is just restless and is moving around the place seemingly without a purpose, and even goes out on the balcony to sit down on a chair, but just for a moment until he started moving again. Let's check it out. Old West Showdown. Two elves on the shelf were caught moving on camera and having a string showdown on their own. It's hard to know who will win between the two, so pick your fighter and keep on watching until the end. Elf caught moving. In this clip, the elf can be seen wanting to climb down the staircase, but as if it knew there was a hidden camera trying to capture exactly that. So, the elf went back and hid, but then continued to peep as if hoping for the camera to move or stop rolling. So let's check it out. Elves film themselves. This is one of the strangest elves on the shelf caught on camera clips. Rather than the owners of the elves setting up the camera themselves to catch their elves moving, it is the elves themselves that decided to do the honor of filming themselves moving. The elves recorded this clip in the middle of the night when their owners were sleeping. Elf caught flying. The home security camera managed to capture something incredible for the elf on the shelf owners. In this clip, the elf on the shelf is captured flying all over the place, so let's check it out. Elf unbothered. This family had more and more suspicions about their elf on the shelf causing havoc inside their home during the night. To figure it out, they dimmed the lights to trick the elf into thinking they were asleep. As you will see, the elf believed no one is awake and moved its head in a really creepy way, so let's check it out. Elf caught playing. Nighttime is fun for elves on the shelf because they always think they're alone and won't be caught, and the elf on the shelf in this clip knows how to make use of that time. Unfortunately, there was a hidden camera set up to capture its fun time, so we can say that the elf has failed in some sense, but it also succeeded in making our day. Elf caught running away. This clip was captured by a spy camera, and it shows an elf on the shelf who's trying to escape the house. While it should be happy to be spending time with a company containing other toys and dolls, this elf isn't so and decides to sneak around. Elves caught moving. This clip shows two elves who were caught on camera either fighting or playing in some sort of weird way. Regardless of that, the camera was ready to capture the incredible moment between these two elves, so let's enjoy it together. Two elves. So, this mom set up some security cameras at the start of December because she knew that her children's elves on the shelf like to roam around the house and do some bad stuff. In this clip, you can see them captured scouting around this house late at night, but then they do something crazy at the end, so keep on watching. Elf and the dog. In this clip, an elf on the shelf was caught on camera moving, but where the other elves on the shelf clips usually have the elves moving around with no destination in mind, this elf on the shelf has a purpose, and that's to find its fluffy friend, so let's check it out. Elf destroys camera. In this clip, we see an elf literally teleport into the kitchen, which is an interesting choice for elves to make. The elf then begins to do what elves do best, move and float around while pretending no one is watching. However, when it realized that someone might be watching, it floated directly into the camera's lens and proceeded to destroy it because elves hate being captured moving on camera. If you think elves are not intelligent, then this video will make you reconsider your stance. In it, this particular elf on the shelf displayed elf intelligence by using a grappling hook to climb the table and open the sweet jar from Santa. This guy was flying his drone around the neighborhood when he came upon an elf on the shelf at the playground, who knew that the elves also like spending their time there, but that's not all, because the elf starts moving and even using a magic trick to vanish into thin air before reappearing soon and after testing out one of the slides, so keep on watching. For the residents of this house, elves on the shelf might not be on the budget for next Christmas, and we can't blame them, and neither will you after watching this clip. Their elf on the shelf clearly enjoys throwing tantrums and making his opinions known by trashing his owner's kitchen, opening shelves and fridges, and rearranging everything inside, then proceeding to dump some on the ground. We must admit this is one of the most confusing elf on the shelf caught on camera clips that we've ever seen, because we still don't know if the elves in the clip are trying to have what seemed to be a salt bath or if they were trying to hide in it. Enjoy the clip and tell us your opinions in the comments. The elf on the shelf in this next clip will rather choose to play hide and seek in the kitchen than stay in one position, so let's check it out. I've noticed that these elves keep teleporting and love to do it back and forth a lot. The first clip shows elves named Marshmallow and Mocha chilling in the wreath, and you can see them glittering all around. They were caught at 4 in the morning, and can you see their first teleportation? The owner of this footage claims to have seen two elves teleporting back and forth, possibly reporting to Santa. Let's see more of their satisfying teleportation. They caught the elves not only moving and flying, but also talking and laughing with the hamsters. They could only record this event with high-tech cameras because normal cameras usually don't capture the magic of the elves, so it's a really rare clip. Prepare yourself because the elf on the shelf shelf is about to, well, poop. I'm not kidding, and that's not even the craziest part, because this guy decided to prank their elf on the shelf by leaving some chocolate-covered raisins in a jar to kind of trick the elf into eating it. But the most insane thing ends up happening, so make sure you stick around to watch it till the end. This elf on the shelf caught on tape is being so mischievous at night, she's wary of being caught, at first only to be caught later as she was captured by the camera flying in midair. This happens twice, so keep an eye out for it. Because they heard noises coming from the cereal box the night before, the family set out to find out what this elf was up to and trap him before he could get away. In order to capture their elf, they set up the camera the next day. Because of this, the hunch turned out to be right. He was hanging out and eating some sugar cookie cereal. In any case, let's check out the clip and see what happens at the end of it. Some elves on the shelf are just super funny, like this one. It was chilling on a Christmas tree when it looked straight into the camera and raised its hand into a dabbing position. It's just insane and makes you think whether it's something Santa is teaching the elves or if this elf has just seen the kids do it so many times that it wanted to try it itself. This is definitely not your traditional elf on the shelf caught moving on camera clip, but it is a fun one nonetheless. The elf jumps off the hearth to attack its owner, and after this intense fight, the elf emerges as the winner, leaving its owner lying unconscious on the ground. Luckily, the rest of the family returned in home just in order to help the guy. This is probably one of those elves on the shelf caught on camera videos we've been scratching our heads about in confusion. While we are still trying to adjust two elves on the shelf moving, now we have to see them create extra legs from sneakers to walk around and run around the house. Confused? Check out this confusing clip for yourself and maybe you'll figure it out. If there's one thing elves are good at, it's turning a situation around in their favor. When an elf on the shelf was caught on camera moving, it decided to turn the situation around and tease the camera instead. An elf on the shelf was caught on camera actually teasing the viewers. The elf in this clip is seen playing hide and seek with the camera. How cute. This clip captures one elf who was wearing green clothes, turning his fellow elf into a pile of candy cane dust. The owner of these elves was shocked to discover what looks to be a crime scene, and we can only hope that the other elf will return to normal instead of just remaining a pile of crushed candy canes. Who knew that elves can use such dangerous magic? Just imagine if your elf would decide to cast the spell on you and turn you into candy cane dust. The elf on the shelf got super mad at the kids for making it angry, and it discovered sitting and flipping off the kids. The elf even left a note explaining that it's angry because the kids were behaving badly towards it, and well, while the elf should be setting a good example for the kids to follow, we can't blame it for losing its temper. For the elf on the shelf in this clip, nighttime means playtime. In this clip, an elf on the shelf is seen moving around trying to wake up its sleeping friends. After a long time of disturbance, it finally falls on its friends and joins the sleeping camp. Elves also need rest. Our next elf on the shelf caught on camera shows an elf trying to find the right position for it to either sit or rest. The elf is seen moving towards the sink before moving away and then trying to rest on the counter before changing its mind again, and that must have been when it spotted the camera that was recording its every movement. This little girl was soundly asleep, probably dreaming of Santa's gifts. The surveillance camera catches a glimpse of an elf peeking at her multiple times. It had multiple attempts to come near her, bouncing all over. The father caught the elf sleeping beside the little kid and thought he saw the elf smile. What a wholesome clip. If you thought your cookies were safe in the cookie jar, you might need to rethink your belief after watching this clip. So basically, a kid woke up to see their elf on the shelf sitting next to several cookies that it had taken out of the cookie jar in the kitchen. The elf might have eaten some as the crumbs indicated. Luckily, the elf left some for the kids to share. This clip was captured by a spy camera, and it shows an elf on the shelf who's trying to escape the house. While it should be happy to be spending time with company containing other toys and dolls, this elf isn't so and decides to sneak around. This clip shows an elf on the shelf who got caught inside a toy BMW i8 coupe and started driving around the patio. The elf is not alone, as there is also a little dog sitting in the passenger seat. Now this is one of the most incredible elf on the shelf clips ever, because the elf must know that he's being recorded, but he still chooses to continue driving around and having fun with his furry friend. This clip shows elves that got sick, and because of that, they have turned into candy canes. Luckily, their owner knew what to do and prepared a special potion that cured the elves and brought them back to their normal elf form. This is just amazing to see that a few drops of magic potion can cure the elves, so let's check it out. This clip was captured by a man who set up a camera to catch his elf on the shelf floating around his bedroom before it started moving towards his pillows and acting as if it had gone to sleep, then finally moving down the bedside to hide on the floor. This elf played so many pranks on his family, and you're in for an adventure. In the first few seconds of the video, the elf starts things off by sliding down the stairs and onto the fire truck toy. Then it drives through the family's living room and the lights begin to rapidly turn on and off, but that's not the craziest part. The elf goes on to climb up on top of the fireplace and, well, it unhooks the family socks. This elf is just so mischievous, but because of that, we have a great clip to show you, so make sure you keep on watching till the end. This clip isn't anything new, but a moving elf is still fascinating to watch. Did you notice the elf's movements near the door? According to the video's owner, he was astonished when he saw the clip recorded on his surveillance camera, and he was super happy about his decision to place it there. This clip captured a day in the lives of 3 elves on the shelf, from working around the house to giving a haircut to their friend Barbie. That's an insane clip that shows a lot of details about how the elves spend their free time, so let's take a look. This elf was captured taking care of the sweet tooth of his fellow elves and making them cookies. This is a very nice gesture, and it shows just how caring and considerate these magical beings are. Would you like to taste a cookie made by an elf? An elf on the shelf played hide and seek with the camera as it moved around what seemed to be like the kitchen. After playing hide and seek with the camera for a while, it had to be forced into permanent hiding when the dog came into the kitchen. We think the elf is afraid of the dog snitching on it. This is the second Elf on the Shelf clip where an elf gives birth, and in this one, you can see a purple elf on the shelf which is pregnant and giving birth to 3 baby elves. This is just amazing because the pregnant elf does it right in front of the camera, meaning that it has a very good relationship with its owner and it isn't scared of moving in front of her. You can see the first baby is wearing pink clothes, the second is wearing orange, and the third is wearing purple just like its mother. What a rare Elf on the Shelf sighting. What some elves on the shelf get to in the middle of the night remains unclear. While we will agree that it is sometimes about flying, cooking, and moving around, for some elves there are others who also come alive in the middle of the night to do whatever. That elf on the shelf in this clip is a perfect example of that, and we are completely puzzled by its behavior. In this clip, you will see a cheeky elf on the shelf using a small snow machine inside a house to, well, make snow. More experienced elves on the shelf can use magic to conjure snow, but this is probably a younger elf who just wanted to have some fun with the snow machine, so let's check it out. In this clip, you can see a group of baby elves being stuck inside a glove. We can only wonder how they ended up there, but luckily their owner noticed it in time and managed to save them by cutting the glove open. Also, notice that she herself is wearing a magical glove which allows her to touch her elves without them losing their magic powers. Remember, you can only touch your elves if you're wearing such gloves. Now we have a clip that captured the spontaneous moment when this dad got their elf on the shelf moving in the middle of the night. Right before this footage, he was told by kids that they should put up a CCTV camera to catch the elf, and so here we are. Turns out you should listen to your kids, especially when it comes to magical stuff like you're witnessing in this clip. When this girl was sleeping one night, she woke up to strange noises coming from the living room, so she rushed downstairs to see what was going on, only to find herself in the middle of hundreds of elves. It's literally insane, and her elf on the shelf was also present in the middle of the gathering, so maybe it invited its friends for a party or something like that. I'm really curious about what they were really talking about. Maybe they were just having fun, or is there a chance they were planning something bad? Well, that's up to you to decide, so make sure you keep on watching till the end. Is there anywhere else that an elf can't turn into a hiding place? We don't think so. In this clip, a camera captured an elf on the shelf quietly trying to enter a house, but after a while, the elf decided to enter at all costs and hide in a place that will surprise you, so keep on watching. The home security camera managed to capture something incredible for the elf on the shelf owners. In this clip, the elf on the shelf is captured flying all over the place, so let's check it out. Now we have a clip of an elf on the shelf recording a gameplay video of him playing Minecraft. We didn't know that elves also like playing video games, and no one can be really sure whether it's true or not, or whether this elf is a one-of-a-kind who likes gaming. Anyway, he's the only one who has recorded a gameplay video, so let's check it out. These two guys purchased some cursed Elf on the Shelf cereal, which made their Elf on the Shelf move at 3 a.m. You can see it appears briefly in the background, which made the guys go downstairs and investigate. The elf is continuously peeking around the corner as if baiting the guys. The elf ends up in the restroom, and who knows why the elf acted the way it did, but it's surely a great Elf on the Shelf caught moving on camera clip.